welcome back to Champion the Passion, a weekly pro wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. I'm your host. My name is Victoria Daisy, and today we're going to be recapping everything that happened last night on NXT. It was an absolutely crazy show, but before we get into it, don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Now let's get right into it because it was an absolutely insane show. I don't think I have seen this insane of a show in a very long time from NXT. Every week NXT is great, but this was just out of this world. So let's get into the action. So the very first match of the night, Stephanie Vaquer had her WWE 50. Stephanie Vaquer had her Women's North American Championship on the line against Carmen Petrovic, who was the #1 contender, as we saw from last week's triple threat match. It was a great match, okay? Stephanie is truly one of a kind, okay? She's a one-of-a-kind talent. She's always bringing new moves and sequences to the table and truly has a banger of a match every single time she steps foot in that ring. And as for Carmen, I think she is so talented and I truly see a bright future for her. And I'm so glad she's getting opportunities like these because she definitely deserves them. Not 1 second was I bored of this match. It was truly so good and there were so many close calls and I thought Carmen put up a great fight. But in the end, Stephanie Vaquer took that W and retained her championship. But the fun wasn't over yet because the women's NXT champion Julia came out and had a few words for Stephanie. She came out and she congratulated her and she said, this is a direct quote from Julia. She said, "You say you are the best champion, but you are not. I am." When she said that, I was like, okay, we're going down that road. Okay. So then Stephanie responds, and this is a direct quote from her. She says, "La primera" means the first, the highest champion of champions. How about we find out who the best is? She said that. Chills. So now we're getting a title for title, champion versus champion match, and the details have yet to be revealed. I believe towards the end of the show, Ava said that it was going to be at Roadblock. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen at Roadblock. And oh my God, this is going to be crazy. So obviously one woman will be walking out of Roadblock as both the NXT and North American champion, which that's crazy. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's my Stephanie bias, but like, why do I feel like Stephanie might win that? I don't know. She's got a shot. I mean, I personally like Stephanie a little bit more than Julia in ring. I think she's just better. But let's see. I don't know. It's so freaking hard to tell because they really strapped a rocket on both of them and let them fly to the moon. So it's really hard to say who's going to win. I don't know. That's really, really hard. But let me know your thoughts down below because I think that would be so interesting. But let's move on to another title defense. This was crazy. So we had, for the first time ever in NXT and WWE history, we had the TNA X Division Championship on the line. Moose defending against Lexis King. Now this, honestly, was a better match than I could have ever anticipated. I knew Moose was going to bring something iconic to the table, but Lexis King, oh my God, he did so well. I mean, I thought he had some pretty cool spots, and overall, I thought he meshed really well with Moose, and Moose brought so much to the table. I mean, in my opinion, I think he represented TNA so well, and it was just, I mean, no words could describe how good that match was. But in the end, Moose retained. But again, just like the previous match, the fun didn't last for long because the NXT champion, Obafemi, came out and this is what he had to say. This is a direct quote. He said, "I can see you got through Lexis, but let's get to what's important. This match that everyone wants to see." So then Opa announces that he had already spoken with Ava and that it's official. In 2 weeks at Roadblock, we will finally be getting Obafemi versus Moose, title for title, champion versus champion, which is actually insane, that means that one of them, mind you, they're in different companies, one of them will be walking out as both champions. That is insane. So I don't know why I have a feeling Moose might win this. Maybe this is his time to come to NXT. I don't know. Unless they gave it to Obafemi, I don't know. Just like with the women's match before this one, I mean, it's so hard to pick who I think is going to win. That's going to be an insane show in 2 weeks. I actually cannot wait. That's going to be at the theater in Madison Square Garden in New York. So cannot wait. It's going to be insane. But let's move on to a Jordynne Grace segment. So Jordynne came out and she said from the moment she stepped foot into an NXT ring, she knew where she belonged. She said her number one goal in NXT is to become a champion. She said that she knows that Julia and Stephanie felt the shift when she came in that ring. What was it? A couple weeks ago when she stood in between them, or when she came out. She said that the next time she's in the ring with one of them, she will not be in between them, but she will be across the ring from one of them. And that gave me chills. But then, if you watched, then you know I'm making this face, or why I just sighed. Probably one of my, if not my least favorite wrestlers on the planet came out. Roxanne Perez. See, I thought we were done with her. I thought she wasn't going to ruin NXT anymore. But, of course, she came out because, God forbid, there's an NXT without Roxanne. So Roxanne was basically yapping about how this is her division and she's going to get her title back, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I'm going to go into the Elimination Chamber this weekend and win and go to WrestleMania and become Women's World Champion. And I might come back and get my title and be Roxy 2 belts and blah, blah. I don't care. And I don't think other people do too. I know you guys love her and I don't get it. I think she's overrated. She's gotten better in ring and on the mic. I can give her that, but she's not as good as you guys make her out to be. It's actually asinine. Whatever. So then Jordynne told Roxanne, well, if this is your division and your title, then how come I don't see it wrapped around your waist? She clocked her. Hello? I loved that so much. So it seems that we might have a new feud in our hands right now between Roxanne Perez and Jordynne Grace. And I'm very excited. So obviously Roxanne has some main roster business to take care of. Obviously this upcoming weekend in Toronto for the 2025 Elimination Chamber. So we'll see how she does in that. I don't expect her to win, but you know what? Sometimes WWE treats her like Brock Lesnar. So for all I know, she's going to win it. But it's going to be definitely interesting. And then I'm intrigued to see when she comes back, obviously from losing the Elimination Chamber, how this is going to go about with Jordynne. Because obviously this proves to me that she's not going to win the Elimination Chamber, because you are just not going to have two storylines going on at once. You're not going to have her and Rhea and her and Jordynne. Makes no sense. Anyways, let's get into something that does make sense. We had the Hardy Boyz making their long-awaited return to the WWE versus No Quarter Catch Crew. So the Hardy Boyz are the TNA World Tag Team Champions. They did not put their titles on the line, but I do gotta say it was so awesome getting to see the Hardys again. I don't watch TNA often, so I haven't gotten to see them wrestle in recent times, but as someone who grew up watching them, I mean, this was just so special. And as far as No Quarter Catch Crew goes, I thought they did pretty well. I think it was Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne, so they did really great. Props to them. But of course, the stars of the match were the Hardys, and something I thought was a little interesting is that Fraxium came out to sit ringside. Well, they kind of sat on the ramp, but they pulled out chairs and they were just relaxing watching the match. But overall, great match. And of course, the Hardy Boyz won at the end. But then Fraxium got in the ring and said that they are the best tag team in this modern era. But of course, they didn't want to get ahead of themselves. The Hardy Boyz are the greatest tag team of all time. That's what they said. Then Jeff responded and said, well, let's find out who the best tag team is. And I was like, wait a minute. We're doing it again. Seems like every match has a little segment following. And I get the pattern. I see what we're doing. But then Santino Marella comes out, our king, and he came out to say that he already spoke to Ava, and in 2 weeks at Roadblock, it will be Fraxium versus the Hardy Boyz for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. That better be the main event. I know it's not going to be, but like, it's definitely main event worthy. I think Roadblock is shaping up to be an insane show. Every match is main event worthy, and I just simply cannot wait. This match is going to be quite literally a banger, and I don't think any of us are ready. But let's move on to the next match. We had Ariana Grace versus Lola Vice. This was a pretty good match. I can't even lie. I honestly forgot how good Ariana and Lola was. I actually saw Ariana last week because I was at NXT last week, and she did a bonus match. Who did she wrestle in that bonus match? I don't remember. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I don't remember. If you guys watch my little NXT vlog I posted on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and TikTok, you would see it there. I really can't remember who she wrestled. Crap. Yeah, it was a bonus match. Anyways, that's not the point. It was a pretty short match, though, which disappointed me because I honestly do like both of these women, and I thought that they could have had an even better match if it went longer. But in the end, Lola Vice did win. But let's head on into the main event. We had Ricky Saints and Javon Evans versus Ethan Page and Wesley. This was Ricky Saints' debut in the WWE in ring, obviously, and this was the first time we would see his new entrance and hear his new theme song. And obviously, you guys know I've mentioned this in the last couple of NXT episodes I've done on this podcast, that I have always been a huge Ricky Starks fan. When I was still religiously watching AEW, he was like my number one favorite, and I just loved him so much. And then when he went away, I got sad, and I was like, I don't know what he's gonna do. And then he's here. So obviously, forget everybody else. Anybody who was ever my favorite, it's Ricky's time to shine. He is here. He's my king. And I am now a Ricky Saints fan page. Because, I was a Ricky Starks one, but, got to switch things up. So, into the match. It was fantastic. Absolutely insane. Great in-ring action and great storyline development. One thought I had that I thought was pretty funny is I feel like Javon Evans is like a little Energizer bunny. He never gets tired, okay? And he just keeps going and going and does these insane sequences that I've never seen anyone do before. He is just, the ropes are his best friend, and he bounces and flies off those things like crazy and does the most insane moves ever. And also, it was so insane getting to see Ethan Page and Ricky Saints in the same ring again, but in NXT. It was just overall insane. And as for Ricky Saints, I thought that he had a phenomenal in-ring debut in the WWE, in NXT, and I cannot wait to see more from him. Obviously, he's kind of intertwined in this whole Javon, Ethan, Wesley storyline that's going on, so I don't know if we're going to continue with that or what he'll get himself into. But obviously, we're on the road to Stand and Deliver, which is Mania weekend for those who don't know. And that is the WrestleMania Stand and Deliver. So I think the road to Stand and Deliver is going to be great. I have a feeling he'll have a great match by then, and I'm just excited to see it. But let's head into my overall thoughts. I thought it was an absolutely insane show. Probably the best we've had all year, possibly. I know New Year's Evil at the beginning of the year was insane, but this just topped it. I would have to say that my match and segment, yes, we're doing a 2-for-1 right now. My match and segment of the night was Stephanie Vaquer. Okay, she had an insane match against Carmen Petrovic, followed by an even more insane segment with Julia directly following the match. And all of it just gave me chills, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's got me so excited, and Stephanie has truly become like my favorite. I mean, you guys know how much I love Jada Parker. I think them two are tied right now at number one, but I just love her so much. I think all the work she does is insane, and I cannot wait to watch her to continue to grow and see if she's going to become Stephanie Two Belts at Roadblock in 2 weeks. That's going to be insane. But overall, I'd give the show a 9 out of 10. It was a near perfect show. I'm trying to think, the only things that I think would have made it a 10 out of 10 is if Roxanne didn't come out and if Ariana Grace and Lola's match was longer. That's the only two things that I think would have made it a 10 out of 10. But it was great. I mean, I can't wait for Roblox in 2 weeks. It's like I said, it's shaping up to be an absolutely insane show. And I'm just loving everything that's going on in NXT. I mean, the main roster is screwed when these people come up. because every single person in both the men's and women's division, they are all insane, okay? And the men and women on the main roster are going to lock in and lock up for when they come up, because it's going to be insane. I'm not sure if they're doing the draft in April. They usually do, but with that transfer portal at the beginning of the year because of the whole Netflix deal, I'm not sure if they're going to do it anymore. But I think they should at least move a few people around and then call up some people. And then obviously we've got to look forward to the NXT after Mania, and then the Raw and SmackDown right after Mania. We'll usually see some call-ups during those times as well. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Champion the Passion. If you liked it, make sure to leave a 5-star review. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. And I will see you guys in the next episode.